We're going to take a look at bounding in this video, how to do it better technically and how you can get it to transfer into the step phase of the triple jump. I was asked a question recently through social media as to how do I teach bounding. Well, it's very important to single out the key components of the bound, and they are the contact going into the next transition, where the foot must push out in front, wait for the ground to come, and then be active. Then you have the use of the swing leg to propel the bound forwards. That should go forwards first and then up and be held in a parallel position and then pulled up again. It may or may not move a little bit more higher, but the objective is to get the jumper used to feeling that they are up and riding the bound, that they are traveling more. Then you've got the use of the arms. Now, whether you use a double or a single arm action, the arms have to swing long so that they can enable the elongation of the bound. If your arms are shortened, squeezed in, then that's going to affect the leg position and the inability to hold as you go through the air. The other thing you also need to consider is your torso position. You don't want to be leaning forwards, as that is going to compromise the ability to lift the thigh and hold it. I'm going to take you through a couple of my jumpers doing various bounding drills, and this will show you some variations in how to employ them as well. First up, we're going to take a look at triple jumper Ignatius doing 3 bounds from, I think it was an 8-step approach. And what we were trying to do was lift that thigh to hold it, the swing thigh, to hold it to get greater distance. You'll see on the first effort that it's the last bound where he manages to get that thigh up and travel further. The thigh lifts higher, and therefore his centre of mass lifts higher. He gets more vertical velocity and therefore flight time and distance. Of course, if you're a triple jumper, you've got to be able to put that bounding action into the step phase of the triple jump. So in the particular session with Ignatius that you're seeing, we then tried to do just that. And there was quite a degree of success. Now, of course, it's going to depend on how you exit the hop and the momentum that you develop and how you swing the free leg up from the hop into the bound. So performing a succession of bounds is different to hopping into a bound due to the way that the foot rotates from the hop. However, if you put the two together into a training session, you can specifically get transference. I'm now going to show you a couple of female athletes, triple jumpers, one of which has only really just started the event, but who has jumped over 12 meters 40, and talk you through how we're trying to develop their bounding techniques. Under 17-year-old Angelica has been having issues with her torso position, which manifests itself also in the triple jump, this leaning forwards, which I mentioned earlier. So with these bounds, we were trying to get her to be more upright. And as you can see, there is a bit of a variation in the way that her torso moves around as she's doing the bounding. Additionally, we're trying to get her to reach out more into the contacts and be more active. And you can see in some of the bounds that this is being achieved. As with Ignatius, one of the key coaching points was to drive the free thigh forwards and up, and therefore you can see that she also is gaining greater lift on some of the bounds. Now, that's very positive in terms of the transference that it's going to give you to the triple jump itself. The single arm action and bounding, and indeed triple jumping, can contribute to the momentum of the bound. Angelica has a habit of pushing her forearm up too high before the arm has swung forwards. So again, that was something that we were working on, and that's something that you should do if you use a single arm action for your triple jumping or your bounding. You can use the arms to lift the body, and that's by you lifting the shoulders as well. Here's Angelica jumping 11 meters 43 for a PB about a week ago. And the step wasn't like what we really wanted to achieve, but it did go forwards. So we've got to continue to work on that step movement through the bounding to get that transference. Now you're looking at Lia, who's just coming to do the triple jump. So it's all about learning all the movements involved. As she goes through the bounding sequence, they start to get better. Now, I'm shouting out commands to her, instructions, and after a couple of repetitions, she begins to get more elevation and also a semblance of the foot strike, the reaching out and pouring back against the track surface. Her posture is pretty strong, and as you can see, she's a powerful young woman and is able to generate a lot of vertical velocity and horizontal velocity as well. We need to be more active in terms of the contact and also in terms of the hip swing to go forwards and up. Another factor that you need to consider is the angle of the swing leg, the lower leg, as you move it through into the bound. And Lia is a little bit too open in doing that. Her foreleg needs to be tucked in under the thigh more so that the swing is faster, there's more velocity. So that's something that she's going to be working on, and that's something that you guys should focus on as well. I'd not spend a great amount of time doing bounds from a standing start. The amount of momentum that you're going to be using is going to be considerably less than that's required by the triple jump, for example. So you want to be using 6 to 8 10-step approaches into the pit, as you've seen, 2, 3, 4 bounds, or 15 to 20 meter bounds on the track surface, or run up where you're getting in 5, 6, 7, 8 contacts depending on your ability. We want to preserve speed, so we therefore need to be active on the contacts to keep moving through. A standing start will make it a much slower ground contact, more of a grinding movement to get the power to transfer. So utilise run-ins more in your training than static starts. Well, I hope the information I provided in this video will help you better bound. We've gone through some key technical requirements and elements and focuses, and if you keep those in mind when you're doing your bounding, you should improve. If you've any specific questions on this particular video, then do leave them in the section below or through my other social media. I've had a couple of jumpers come over and train with the group relatively recently, and regular channel viewers will know that this happens quite a lot. At the moment, I've got Conrad from Singapore. Now, he's a 761 jumper and he's an under 20. If any of you guys watching this video would like to come over and train with me in South London, then do reach out. As usual, good luck with your training and competitions, which will undoubtedly be coming up at the time of making this video, indoor season 2025. Do like and subscribe, and feel free to share this video with fellow athletes and coaches. If you're looking for a really fast training shoe that thinks it's a spike, then check out the Antepes Muscle Runners. They've got a carbon fibre plate which propels you forward, springs you out of the contact and adds to the velocity. They've also got TPU foam specifically placed in order to assist with toe off and encouraging a forefoot sprinting motion. A couple of my group members have been trialling them and they are full of praise. Indeed, Abraham and Daniel are number 2 in the country in their respective age groups, and they have attributed some of their success to the Antepes Muscle Runners. Check out the link in the video description or my video that I made which goes into detail on the Antepes. You can also get a 10% discount from the link in the video description.